So I've been on the fence for months about the Ninja Creami. Like you, I've also been getting strategically targeted content about high protein ice cream, delicious sorbet, or making even real ice cream or smoothie bowls at home using the Ninja Creami. After watching and researching more into the machine, I decided why not get it and share my thoughts on if it's worth it or not, if the ice cream is actually good, especially if it's a high protein ice cream or a low sugar added ice cream or a lighter ice cream, how easy it is to make, and share 2 foolproof recipes with you. I've had the Ninja Creami for almost a month now, and I am truly shocked at the results and usability of it at this point. So keep watching to see my honest thoughts, and hopefully you can form your own opinion on if this machine is worth it for you or not. I know they have to package it super well to keep the product safe, but dang, there was so much packaging in this. I promise it took longer to unpack everything and get all the plastic and cardboard and paper out of there than actually making the ice cream. I struggled a little bit, but I ended up getting everything in order. So there's a good amount of parts to this appliance compared to a basic air fryer where you only literally have like the baskets. But in my version of the Ninja Creami, I received the base, the outer holder with the blender or blade. And I know you can't see me put air quotes around blade, but it's not really a typical blender blade. It's actually pretty soft and it's not meant to break up or blend ingredients. It also came with 2 container cups with lids, the manual, and a recipe book. So my base came with just a couple functions. I believe this is not the newest version of the Ninja Creami, and it has the following functions: ice cream, light ice cream, gelato, sorbet, smoothie bowl, milkshake, mix-ins, and the respin button. I honestly love how most of the parts are machine washable. Just put it on the top rack, so it's really made cleanup very, very simple and easy. So truthfully, it's taken me a little bit of time to figure out which flavors I wanted to do, but I think you cannot go wrong with just having a basic vanilla ice cream and a basic chocolate ice cream, and then we can get more experimental from there. Because I mean, if you can't do that right, then what are we doing? And truthfully, I love vanilla ice cream because I think it's the most perfect topping or side accompaniment to either like baked desserts or baked warm fruit. It's just a good classic. And I'll be honest, I'm not a huge chocolate ice cream person, but it's worth a shot, am I right? So let's get into the recipe. So I wanted to go pretty simple with this, and this is just 3 ingredients. And what I've been researching is that you really just need a milk, so I'm using the Fairlife milk, and I'm gonna add some protein powder to make this a little bit more high protein ice cream, and just pure bourbon vanilla extract that I got from Trader Joe's. I love this vanilla extract. I think it kind of adds just a little hint of an extra flavor of the bourbon, and I think it'd be really delicious in this simple recipe. And I thought that this would be a good base to go off of if you ever wanted to add in extra toppings or condiments to go inside the vanilla ice cream. So on these cups that they give you, they have a max fill line, so I'm gonna just add all the ingredients until it gets to that point. Starting off with my protein powder. This is my protein powder that I use. It's just a basic grass-fed whey protein powder that's vanilla flavor, which I thought was perfect for this vanilla ice cream. It has 21 grams of protein, as well as 3 grams of prebiotic fiber and only 1 gram of sugar. I'm just following my protein powder serving size, which is 2 scoops. So I'm gonna add 2 scoops into this. Then we're gonna add the vanilla extract, and I'm really just going off by sight. I'm not really using any measurements right now, but that's probably about to be a teaspoon. Then I'm just going to top it off with the Fairlife milk. I'm going to go ahead and mix this with my milk frother. And I know you're probably tempted to put the lid on top of here, but you're actually not supposed to do that. You're supposed to just leave it in the freezer uncovered for at least 24 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and go do that. And you wanna just make sure it's completely level. So get stuff out of the way to make sure it's laying on a flat surface. I had to rearrange my little freezer. And no, it's not very aesthetic and organized, but it gets the job done. Now the chocolate's gonna be even easier because it's only gonna use 2 ingredients. First ingredient is my chocolate naked whey protein powder. I really love this because the ingredients are pretty minimal. It's really just grass-fed whey, raw cacao, coconut sugar, and that's it. Also has a great amino acid profile, and again, 2 scoops is about 1 serving, and it has 25 grams of protein. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with 2 scoops of this protein powder. Then for my liquid, Luckily, Fairlife has a chocolate milk. So I'm gonna use this for my liquid and fill it all the way up to the max line. And then we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna mix it with my frother to make everything incorporated, because the Ninja Creami isn't a blender. You have to blend things before you put it in the machine, just so you have the greatest consistency and texture and flavor. It's interesting because the consistency is way more thicker than the vanilla ice cream, even though the vanilla was also pretty thick, but I'm definitely having to just mix it manually to help it out. Okay, I think that's good. So again, we're just gonna pop this in the freezer without the lid on a flat surface and let this freeze for 24 hours before we go and churn it in the Ninja Creami. We'll see you later. Before I put the mixtures into the freezer, I did taste them to see if I actually liked them and if I needed to add anything. But honestly, I thought it tasted pretty good. There was a strong flavor of protein powder, both in the vanilla and the chocolate flavor, but that's to be expected because it was a good amount of protein powder that I put in both flavors. But I'm curious to know if changing the texture of the mixture will give a different taste, because I've heard from other people that you can't really taste the protein powder as much. But before you put the mixture in the freezer, be sure to taste it to see if it's how sweet you like it. I thought it was sweet enough. I don't think I wanted or needed to add any extra sweetener or sugar to it. And I can definitely see this being a really great no sugar added option as a dessert. Like, that's pretty monumental. And considering it's a good balance between minimal ingredients, high protein content, and really delicious flavors that you know and love, I'm really excited to try this out. So basically, I filmed a whole bunch of footage that day, and I don't know what happened, but the audio is completely out. So here I am refilming. It's been like a month later now, so I even have a better grasp on the Ninja Creami and my thoughts on it. So maybe everything does work out for the better, but here I am having to refilm it. I actually had to make a whole new batch because I ended up finishing both of them because they were so good. But all that to say, I have been using it almost every single day since I got the Ninja Creami, so the investment for me was well worth it. So let's get into the taste test of the video. Here's the new batch of ice cream that I had to do. Everything is virtually the same in terms of the recipe, just because I wanted to keep things very consistent for the video. So this is again just chocolate protein ice cream and the vanilla protein ice cream. I'm gonna let this sit out for about 10 minutes before I put it in the Ninja Creami to spin. And as you can see, there is some rise still from these cups. It's not just an even surface, which I still don't know why that occurs. I've done everything as the Ninja Creami told me to, but I guess it's maybe my freezer, or I don't know. And I've also experimented with freezing it with and without the lid that it comes with, because I've heard if you put on the lid, the pressure of it will cause that bump. But truthfully, with or without the lid, I get these bumps. So I don't know. But so far, my machine has not caught on fire. Knock on wood. So this is first look of the first spin of the Ninja Creami using the chocolate protein ice cream recipe. So you can see that it's like not fully soft serve. I think the fact that I left it out gives it like a really true ice cream texture. From a lot of the videos I watch, a lot of them get like a powdery, but this one is like, seems very creamy, very smooth already. If you like this texture, I would just stop here, to be honest, which that was only one spin. It looks really great. That's a pretty solid texture for it just being protein powder and chocolate milk. Let's taste it. It's also pretty interesting because I typically do not gravitate towards just plain chocolate ice cream, but for some reason the chocolate protein ice cream is my favorite, and maybe it's because just like the flavors are really nice and everything's pretty balanced. So let's go ahead and taste it at this consistency. Like, it's so good. And I'm trying it on camera for you guys, but I have literally eaten this almost every single day since I got this. And the chocolate flavor is my favorite. It's just so easy to do and it's not too sweet at all. And I typically eat this in the morning for breakfast actually, just because I feel like breakfast is one of those meals that's a little bit harder to meet your protein goals. So if I feel my breakfast is lacking in protein, I just put the Ninja Creami on and I literally eat ice cream for breakfast. It's so good. If you wanted to get a more soft serve consistency, I would put this again in the Ninja Creami but hit respin, and then I believe it'll make it even more creamier and delightful. I'll go ahead and show you now because that's how I like it. Oh yeah, so this is respun, and do you see how just the color changes as well as the texture? Oh my gosh, yes. Like, that is luxurious, silky smooth, and just perfect. It's not too cool that you're freezing your mouth and getting a brain freeze, but it's just the most perfect little protein ice cream. Now, I truthfully just eat it right out of the container because it's just me, so why not? Ugh, she's so luxurious and creamy and just giving soft serve McDonald's flurry. So let's taste. And I actually do crave this. It's that good. No chalkiness. For me, I taste no iciness either. It's very smooth. And just a solid chocolate flavor. And you really cannot beat the fact that this is literally 2 ingredients with a very minimal added sugar, high protein. I truly give this like a 9 out of 10. This recipe is perfect. Now, I do love that this is a high protein, low sugar ice cream, but at the same time, I am all about balance and mindfulness. So sometimes with these healthier products, it makes you feel like you can eat the whole thing, which maybe you can, to be honest, but I still want you to practice mindfulness and balance when eating these types of things. And when you don't feel like you can finish the whole thing, all you do is kind of level off the top, make it as even as you can, and then pop on the lid and put it back in the freezer for next time. So this is first spin of the vanilla protein ice cream, and it's already looking pretty good. You can see that it's pretty hollow here and still pretty icy and cold and a little separated on the bottom. I'm going to do another respin to kind of get that soft serve texture, but I want to show you guys what it looks like now. It honestly has the texture of like frozen icing or frosting. And here it is after the respin. It looks amazing, but look at this texture. Oh yeah, creamy and smooth. I feel like on camera it looks a little icy, but let me go in and taste it for you guys to see if it actually is pretty icy or not. It even looks like frosting. So I am a vanilla ice cream girl. I love vanilla. I think it pairs so well with warm desserts like brownies or cookies or even like warmed fruit. So I have very high opinions about vanilla ice cream, and I've already tasted this. To put it back on camera, let me taste it for you guys and share my thoughts. It's really cold. What I have found so interesting about the Ninja Creami and just using more protein-based recipes for it is that the flavor changes. So even before you freeze it and you make the mixture and you taste it to see if you like it, that taste is not going to be the same taste as when you spin it. If you don't finish the whole thing, you put it back in the freezer, respin it again, like every time it's kind of like a different flavor. I don't know if that's just because of the protein powder I use or whatever. In the beginning, it's really protein powdery, and I just don't know if it's because I'm not the biggest fan of my vanilla protein powder that I use, just because it does have an intense flavor that's a bit chalkier than just normal vanilla ice cream. But as I continue eating it and respinning it, refreezing it, respinning it, it just like loses that chalkiness taste and it becomes a little bit more creamier, a little bit more milky. It's just interesting and something to keep in mind. As far as consistency goes, it's not very consistent, and this is looking way more icier than it normally is, but flavor of it, it really tastes like milk. Like a frozen milkshake with a hint of vanilla. I, right now at this moment, can taste just a subtle aftertaste of vanilla protein powder, but honestly, it's pretty good and I'm actually surprised. But like I said, every time I do this, it is a bit inconsistent and it comes out with a new flavor. But what I like to do with this is still like a pretty solid vanilla base, and I like to add in mix-ins. So this would be a good opportunity for me to show you guys what that kind of looks like and how it changes the profile of the taste and how easy it can be. So I love cookies and, you know, brownies and like vanilla with chocolate, and like I'm gonna put these cookies in there. They're just packaged cookies that I got from my Hunger Root package. I didn't have to bake it, so it makes the process way more easier. But I like how this also has not a lot of added sugar in it. This only has 5 grams of added sugars. So that's kind of still within the ballpark of what I want to achieve with this, you know, high protein, healthier ice cream alternative. So to add in your mix-ins, you're just gonna drill a little hole with your spoon. You're gonna take your little cookies and I'm just gonna put them in there. Probably about like what, 5 cookies? Put it in the Ninja and hit mix-ins. So this is it after I mixed in the cookies, and as you can see, it really crumbled most of the cookies, so it's now just incorporated into the ice cream itself. But as you can see, even the texture changes every time you spin it, so now I would say it's even more looser than it was previously, but the cookie seems pretty and evenly distributed, and there's even like bigger chunks for fun texture. So yeah, let's give this a taste test. It's not the most visually appealing. If I look at this, it looks kind of grainy. It looks a little bit like mushy. Not as appealing as normal cookie dough ice cream, obviously. Let's just give it a shot though. It's still so cold. I'm going to rate it now. The original vanilla by itself, truthfully, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Just not the same as normal vanilla ice cream. But the fact that it does have high protein and low added sugar, I'm like, okay. It definitely doesn't leave me feeling as satisfied as normal vanilla ice cream. But this with the cookie dough makes this super yum. I just feel like the texture is a little off, so I would give it a 7. Like, I'll give it that extra point because the flavor and sweetness is there enough to like curb my craving and satisfy me, but also the texture just a little bit off-putting, and it's a little bit more runny than I like it to be. But that's also because I spun it once, respun it, and then added the mix-ins. If I knew I wanted to add good stuff in it or the mix-ins in it, I would have just spun it once, then added the cookies, and then hit mix-ins, and then I think that would be a better texture. But you know, it's all about learning and experimenting with what you have on hand. You can literally add whatever you want to this. You can add in like, say, banana bread, brownies, fresh fruit, chocolate chips, the cookies that I use, like literally anything to kind of make this suit your flavor preference. I'm super excited to try out other flavors for you guys. Now that I really feel like I am getting the hang of this Ninja Creami thing, I have really exciting fall ideas for recipes for the Ninja Creami, like a cinnamon roll or like a pumpkin cheesecake flavor, just so you can keep on using the machine even outside of summer, because I don't want this to be a seasonal thing. Personally, I always need a sweet little treat, and I love frozen desserts, like I said, so I'll really want to take it in with me even in the colder months and see how I can incorporate it into my life, but also reach my protein goals and decrease my added sugar intake. So my final thoughts on the Ninja Creami and the recipes. I think if you love frozen desserts, I think it's so worth it. I personally have been using it almost every single day since I got it. I'm not even kidding you, and I use it for breakfast or late night or even as a snack, so any time of the day. It is a hefty investment, and I said in the beginning that I don't like to put money into an appliance or machine that can only do one job, but the thing is, if it does one job really well and it suits my life and I love it, then it's worth it in the end. I'm actually really excited to also try the fruit option, so doing like a sorbet or even smoothie bowls. So let me know if you want another video on that, because I have some acai packets in the freezer that I'm ready to turn into a good, well-balanced acai bowl with low added sugars and more protein to keep it more balanced and filling. So let me know in the comments if you would like more recipes on that. As far as usability, I think it's very self-explanatory. It's pretty easy. You just need to watch a couple videos, and I hope my video helps to get you more used to the machine if you do have it. I definitely feel like there is some trial and error with recipes as well as using the machine, just because I feel like every single time you do it, it's a little bit different, so consistency isn't really there. But I mean, homemade ice cream. We're not striving for perfection, you know? And I always say that even if you are wanting to have a sweet treat or indulge in yummy, delicious food, you have to find it delicious yourself. Just because it is a healthified version of something, maybe it's not as satisfying, so you end up eating a lot of it and then end up gravitating to the pantry or fridge for that one thing that you were trying to avoid. So I just really suggest and encourage you to find either a recipe that you find hits the spot for you, or if it doesn't work out for you, just always eat the real thing, and you'll find that it is more satisfying for you. And yes, it's pretty minimal ingredients that we're using for this protein ice cream, but at the end of the day, are you gonna get the bulk of your protein from protein ice cream? No, it's just kind of like a little filler of a good little sweet alternative to getting savory protein options. So I still want you to make it a priority to get in those whole foods the majority of the time. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more from me, and let me know in the comments if you want more recipes for the Ninja Creami. But I do have a lot of healthy, high protein, balanced recipes on my website that I will link in the description box below. I'll see you guys next time.